All right, cool. All right, yeah, we straight. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, yeah, there's a little echo. There's a little echo, Zaquan.
All right.
Okay. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Waki and Model who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. And today we want to come back with another Thursday Live, which again, we entered into 2024 is a lot going on. A lot going on, a lot of different things that's happening from all spectrums of prophecy, whether it's dealing with health, financial, civil, with the civil wars brewing, right? You even got on, since January hit, I seen the elder brother Amawan Gabor in New York speak about it, but on Netflix, soon as 2024 hit, they put 2 new movies on there, and it's the Purge movies. One of them is the first Purge, which that's when Esau came after Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and the other one is Purge election year, right? So we coming into those times, man. We know Esau want to come after the Israelites, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we know we fast approaching. Are we in that election year, man? And which it might not even be election, an election which a lot of people talking about. Things might happen way before then. So we'll hop into it. We'll touch on a few things concerning Iran, which we mentioned last week, that Iran was going to be put in the news a lot here in these latter days. They're going to be demonized to justify a move by Israel and America. So we seeing Iran in the news, and also these elites, how they so-called shaking in their boots, as one would say. Now that their plans are being outed, everybody know what they got going. Now they have a problem with it. And that's going to further cause them to want to move with great wrath. Because everybody see these elites in the government for who they are. And that's what's going to make them come after the citizens, man. So we'll hop into some of those things today. Elder Tazapaye, whatever you got it, the floor yours.
Okay, no, you can go ahead.
So we'll first hop into this right here. Let's see. So this from Reuters News. Yeah, there's an echoing against the corn. Is this one from Reuters News.
You good?
January 3rd, 2024 at 4:41 p.m. a day ago. So it says blast kills, and it's kind of honorable mentions before we get into what we're gonna get into. Just to highlight some things that's going on with Iran, because again, Iran play a pivotal role in end-time prophecy. One of the main nations that was mentioned by name, which the Bible called them Persia, that was their name before it was changed to Iran. But one of the main nations that was going to be on Russia's side here in these latter days. And we have been seeing Iran mentioned more in the news lately. So this is from Reuters News put out a day ago. It says, blast kills nearly 100 at slain Commander Soleimani's memorial. Iran vows revenge. You remember when CV first started, you had America, they had a drone strike against one of Iran's top and respected generals, General Soleimani, a couple years ago, right? And they just had another a top general killed by Israel. So, Israel and America been working together. So they understand that these two people got the same plan in mind. So that's going to allow, or is having Iran to turn an evil eye towards Israel, as we already know, and towards America. So now seeing General Soleimani, he was slain, by an American drone strike a couple years ago, 2019, I believe. So a couple of days ago, I forgot when it was. Let's see. Wednesday, right? Wednesday, they had a memorial for him for this man who America put to death. They had a memorial. At the memorial, they came with another strike, right? Another strike, man. And I read a little bit, but another strike. So in other words, that's fighting. They say fighting words. That's fighting actions right there. While you already having a memorial for a top general, then you go strike it again. You see?
Yeah,
you got it.
I did a lesson yesterday. Scott Ritter, he came out and said that pretty much Israel is engaging in wag the dog tactics, forcing the American, the U.S.'s hand, the U.S. military, that is, forcing their hand, because he said, Scott Ritter, that America doesn't want a full out conflict with Iran. All right? They don't want that. But what does the scripture say? And I'm gonna bring it out real quick here in Isaiah. It's here in Jeremiah. All right. So here we go.
This is the one in Jeremiah 50 and 45.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Okay, Con. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, which Babylon is America. It says, in his purposes that he hath purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, also America. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. All right, so it's more than likely that Israel did this attack on their own to provoke Iran so that America could come in, to the aid of the those Israelis, those Khazarians, those Amalekites, all right? Because the least of the flock that the scripture is speaking about are the Edomites of the tribe of Amalek, all right? And Amalek are the so-called Khazars that are parading around today as Israelis, calling themselves Jewish and whatnot. So that was from his intel, Scott Ritter. And it makes sense, because America is tapped out. Billions to Ukraine, now billions to Israel to fight, Palestinians. The last thing they need is a full out conflict between Iran. But it's coming. It's coming anyway. So a lot of this shit behind the scenes is Israel. But go ahead, brother. Let's read that article.
Oh, kind of. Yeah, I had just accidentally clicked out of it. All right, here we go. So I read a little bit of it. It says, in Dubai on January 3rd, 2 explosions killed nearly 100 people and wounded scores at a ceremony in Iran on Wednesday to commemorate Commander Qasem Soleimani, who was killed by a U.S. drone in 2020. Iranian officials said, blaming unspecified terrorists. It says Iranian state television reported a first and then a second blast around 20 minutes during a crowded 4th anniversary event at the cemetery where Soleimani is buried in the southeastern city of Kerman. And it's pretty much going in how they said it was a terrorist attack. But again, they have, like the elder was just saying, they have an idea on who it is, on who it is. And all signs point at America and Israel. You see America and Israel, as the scripture said, as the elder read, Israel going to force American hand, so they're going to have to do things to force America to have their back, man. You see? And even continuing to have Israel back, that's what's going to make America allies want to go against America, because they ain't going to get into the problems America going to cause by backing up Israel.
I got another one too.
Okay, you got it.
Just to show that we're talking about Edomites. All right. We're not talking about Israelites, over there in the land of Israel. They are not the real people. All right. Now this is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. And it says, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he will make their habitations desolate with them. All right. So in 50, we read about Babylon in the land of the Chaldeans. And here, Isaiah 49, we're reading about Esau, Edom. Because the two go hand in hand. Esau is ruling over Edom. All right, this is his kingdom. So they are the ones who this judgment is pronounced against. All right, so we speak about Babylon. All right, that goes hand in hand for Edom. But, a lot of 2/3 of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which make up the nation of Israel, you're going to get caught in this man's judgment because you didn't receive the love of the truth. So go ahead, brother.
And continuing on, so we'll hit this next article, still got Iran in the news, and it's from thehill.com. And this was put out on February 2nd, 2 days ago. It says Iran moves warship to Red Sea after the U.S. destroy Houthi boats. Now, again, this is all point towards end time prophecy, as we touched on last Thursday live, how World War III is building. How, again, Iran, we said last week, there's going to be in the news a lot in 2024, and that's what's happening. But also they are building their alliance with America, Iran and Russia. You see? So now I'm going to read this article a little bit. So now Iran put warships in the Red Sea. Now, why that's important? Because World War III, the location of it, points over there in the same region or area as the Red Sea, man. The Arabian Desert, as within Job 20, how it says those American troops was going to go over there with their face toward the utmost sea, roughly paraphrasing, so on and so forth. If the Lord permits, we'll get it. But this is all point to end time prophecy. These nations are stationing themselves around the same region where the Bible said they're going to go to war at, man. So I'll read a little bit of it. It says Iran moves warship to Red Sea after U.S. destroy Houthi boats. Now, I looked up that word Houthi. Now, it's a group. It says the Houthis, is on Google. It says, on Wikipedia, it says the Houthis aim to govern all of Yemen and support external movements against the United States. So they're against the United States, against Israel and Saudi Arabia. You see, it says due to the Houthis' ideological background, the conflict in Yemen is widely seen as a front of the Iran-Saudi Arabia proxy. So these are people who are against United States and Israel, man. So as we read this article, you're going to see that the United States, again, getting active in the East. So it says Iran this week moved a warship to the Red Sea in what could be an escalation in the Middle East as the United States battles the Iranian-backed Houthis in the region and recently sunk 3 boats. So again, America getting active over there. America and Israel getting active. America sunk 3 of these Iranian-backed militia boats. So it says, which caused Iran to bring a warship over there to the Red Sea. But it says the Iranian Alborz destroyer passed the Bab el Mandeb Strait on Monday before it entered the Red Sea. According to the Iranian state media outlet, the IRNA, it says state media did not report what the Iranian ship would be doing in the Red Sea, but noted the deployment comes amid rising tensions across the Middle East as the Israel and Hamas war rages. The Iranian warship will at the very least ruffle the feathers of the U.S. and its new maritime coalition task, with defending the Red Sea from the Houthis in Yemen. So again, this is more that's going to pile upon the reasons of these nations wanting to go to war. America ain't go back down. Israel gonna still wild out and do what it do. And Iran already said it ain't go back down either. Oh, and speaking of Israel, if I could pull this up real quick, Israel and America beefing. Israel saying they tired of taking orders from America. Now, this is on RT put out today a couple hours ago. It says Israel won't take orders from the U.S. The security minister says. So they tired of being pushed around. You know, I'm going to read something off it real quick just to show everybody pretty much coming at America. This is a quick part. This is what he said. He says, really appreciate the United States of America, he wrote on Tuesday, but we are not another star on the American flag. Y'all just can't tell us to do what y'all want us to do, man. Or do what y'all do, make us do what y'all want. Yeah. Y'all can't make Israel do what America want them to do. That's also what they said, man.
Yeah, let me correct that, because America is tributaries to Israel. So again, it's wag the dog. We don't tell them what to do. They run America. Shit, don't forget. Kanye came out and said it, and now we see it. And just as soon as he said it, everything he said, they showed it when they canceled his ass. Because he said the Jews run all this shit, you know, basically. And he may have been talking about entertainment or his particular industry, but they run this shit. From Wall Street to Hollywood to you pretty much name it, media, you name it. So we don't push them around. They get billions of dollars a year from the US. All right, we are tributaries to them. What they want to do is have complete, I guess, what would you call it? They want to be able to just go rogue in a sense. That ain't the best term to use, but they want to have free reign to go through and basically to change up the face of the Middle East and just have America to shut up and go along with it. That's what they want. They want free reign to do what the fuck they want, which is, if they done pissed off everybody in the world, they don't have an ally but the US. You know, for them to come out and make that bold statement, see, you know, they can say that because they know they hold the strings. Now it's coming out right now, and we're gonna bring these scriptures out, but it's coming out right now that all that Jeffrey Epstein shit was just that, all right? A way for them to get politicians in their pockets, all right? Because he worked with Mossad. I said this when that shit first broke, all that shit, that he was a Mossad agent, which is Israeli secret, that's ISIS. All right, Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. And he worked with them, and he ran the honeypot operation, which is to get dirt on politicians, catch them in compromising situations, and now I control them. So, yeah, we not we, but America ain't, you know, pushing little old Israel around. Israel is, well, I read it, all right? The least of the flock is going to draw us, them, into this third woe. So, you know, that's on that. And all the information is coming out now, because that list everybody been talking about is getting ready to drop. You know, the client list of Jeffrey Epstein, all this is tied together. And this is why they got to push this war. The same way that corruption came out in Ukraine, and then what happened? Ukraine was at war with Russia, with the whole biolabs and the human trafficking through Ukraine, and then what? You find that they at war. So now all of this shit, this dirt is coming out. So the way they cover shit up and hide shit is just, let's have a war. So we at that time. But go ahead, brother.
I read just one more little excerpt from it. It says, really appreciate the United States of America, he wrote on Tuesday, but we are not another star on the American flag. The United States is our best friend, but first of all, we do what is best for the state of Israel. Yep. So again, going back to this, we see war still brewing. Oh, and it's official with the BRICS. BRICS just got its new members in there. Matter of fact, I'll pull it up. BRICS. So that's official, and then we'll hop into this news about the leaks. So as you see right here, it says who are the new members, which BRICS is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Let's see, BRICS new members. So that's official as well. Just a honorable mention for the news. All right, come on. So I'll read this real quick. So it says, who are the new members of BRICS? It says Saudi Arabia, Iran. So Iran now in BRICS. It's official, 2024. So seeing Iran getting involved in all this against Israel and the U.S., guess who else can get, got to say so? The members in BRICS now, man. Russia, so on and so forth. China, South Africa, India, Brazil, Ethiopia, Egypt, UAE, Saudi Arabia. So again, these things are building. We seeing a building blocks was going to lead to World War III, man. But if you ain't got nothing else, Aquan, we can hop into that video right here.
Yeah, real quick. This is Joel chapter 2, verse 20. But I will remove far off from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea. And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he had done great things. All right. Now the East Sea is the Persian Gulf. The utmost sea is the Red Sea. So that's right in that area of the Valley of Jehoshaphat, where this third woe is going to take place. You had something, Mike?
Nah, that's it. That's spot on. That's what we were just reading, that Red Sea.
Right. That's why they. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Break it down.
I got one just to back you up, because they gathering, and it's not just to gather over that, but it's for a reason. Real quick, this is the book of Joel.
And right quick, before you get that, just to speak on this verse, it said, but I will remove far off from you the northern army, which is the American military. So, what profit does the U.S. have in that endeavor? All right. Because, we don't, I keep saying we, but America doesn't have anything to gain one way or the other by going into this. But the Most High is drawing them, as mentioned also in Joel, but in Zephaniah also 3 and 8, 3 and 9. But go ahead,
I'll read this for you. Got it though. This Joel 3 and verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or the valley of Yahweh-Shaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. So as the elder was just going into, that's where they've been brought to. Now we could just read an article seeing, Israel or Iran put a warship in the Red Sea. But again, that's according to prophecy. These nations gonna have to gather one way or another, right? The scripture said they was gonna gather in that region. It's just got to be little things that's got to go on today to give them a reason to go over there. And as we read earlier, America sank 3 of those Houthi ships, which they are backed by Iran, that made Iran go over there. So we're gonna start to see a lot of little other, skirmishes that's gonna have to happen. Ships being sunk, right? Beefs being made to bring the nations over there. Even Russia, they trying to make their way over there. That's what we was talking about last week. But why? It's according to prophecy, because World War III, we're on the brink of it, man. But that's it, Zaquan. That was it on that. But we can so we'll hop into the next portion of on the lesson, and it says a revolution against the elites. Now, the Elder Tazapai, he sent this to me earlier, which is a good watch. In 6 minutes, we're going to watch the whole thing. But you have Klaus Schwab, you know, the head of the WEF, the World Economic Forum, which if you watch the Thursday Lives, we show him often or let him speak often on here, right? But he's the head of or the face of everything that's going on, the plans that's being made for the NWO or the Great Reset. Now, he came out in this video, which we're going to show, and he complaining how people are complaining about the elites now, which, again, is Bible prophecy, man. The citizens are getting tired of the government and the people who calling the shots. You know, so I play it other times. I probably want to, you know, speak on it before we play it, or, you know, while I'm playing it, just let me know when to stop it. Make sure I'm good. Hold on, let me share my screen one more time. I had a sound on. All right, cool. All right, yeah, I'll play it. Just let me know what you got.
So here's some more from the WF Klaus Schwab.
Oh, and this from the Jimmy Dore show, right? And it says a revolution against the elites, World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab openly worries. Right? This is a man calling a shot. He's openly crying and complaining, right? Because things are being made difficult for these people making their decisions now, man. But let's play it.
The people who are going to run your life. So here's some more from the WF Klaus Schwab, the people who are going to run your life. Klaus Schwab is getting worried. His WEF 2030 agenda has been exposed by his own arrogance about having penetrated the cabinets with his WEF puppets like Sunak in the UK, also Trudeau in Canada, and they now fear the masses rising in a revolution against the elitists and the globalists. New World Order. He attacks Brexit and criticizes Trump 2024. They are becoming afraid. So watch this. So now they've been talking openly about having all their WEF little buddies in all the cabinets and all the Western governments.
Yeah, for the stakeholders.
And he said that out loud. Now people know, and people are getting upset about it. Well, here's what he says now.
For this reason, what we have seen in the elections in the United States, in the Brexit vote, this anger of people against globalization and against the elites. If you look what's happening in the United States, particularly, you have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. It's dismantling the system, and we see certain elements of this now in the new US administration.
So he's saying, oh my God, but the people are rising.
You want to speak on that? Khan, you good, Khan? I'll let it play. We'll probably run it back too, but I'll let it play.
Up against the system that we created, that we've entrapped them in. People are rising up against it. And by the way, the most important thing to remember about this is none of it's a conspiracy.
I know.
Yeah.
This melted wax statue of Colonel Klink has been very open about this plan the whole
Matter of fact, I'll play it back
whole time. The idea, they had no idea anyone would have a problem with this.
Yeah, all those, like, you'll own nothing and love it. They put it out, the statement. People look at it. They're like, oh, everyone's mad. You got to debunk the thing we literally just said. And you can't because you said it. So they got to go, no, but it's not bad. What are you making this into a bad thing? There's going to be no elections. We have a prescriptive model.
Yeah.
We like
You'll own nothing and like it. You'll own nothing and like it.
Don't.
Let's listen again.
For this reason, what we have seen in the elections in the United States, in the Brexit vote, this anger of people against.
So he's talking about Trump's election and Brexit. Remember, we had on a political science guy, and he told us that Brexit wasn't local, or Trumpism isn't local.
Yeah.
And that it's across the world, and people are sick and tired of the establishment.
Mark Blythe or something?
Mark Blythe, that's right. So here we are, and now, and he's all surprised that people don't want to be controlled by a governing body of capitalists to exploit.
I got a real quick one, just a real quick one. This is Psalms chapter 64 and verse. I'm gonna start at 2. This is the NLT because what Klaus Schwab saying, and we'll play this back because that's key to what he said, which shows that pressure is building for them to begin the NWO. Right? It ain't as easy as it was before the internet when they could just do anything and pass any law. Now people catching on, and not just catching on and exposing them, bringing their plans out, but also people want to revolt against these elites in the government now. And now they got a problem with it. But real quick, this Psalms chapter 64 and verse, and that's another thing, man, which shows Isaiah the 13th chapter and verse 1. You know what, 1 and 2, how it says that this truth, this banner, have entered into the gates of the nobles. Because you also, yeah, of course, they hearing these whistleblowers, you know, these people who stepped away from these organizations and they blowing the horn, sounding the alarm on these things, but also they know the prophets are out, man. The prophets, the main ones who exposing them because we turn into the scriptures. You know, but all this information that's being brought out is bringing pressure on these people. Let me get this real quick. This Psalms chapter 64 and verse 2 in the NLT. It says, hide me from the plots of this evil mob, from this gang of evildoers, the WEF, all these different organizations, that's all gangs of evildoers, man, the Edomites. It says they sharpen their tongues like swords and aim their bitter words like arrows. It says they shoot from ambush at the innocent and attack suddenly and fearlessly. They encourage each other to do evil and plan how to set their traps and secrets. And that's what they matter about, how they secret plans are being outed. It ain't the easy way no more, just to set a plan and the citizens don't know about it. That's why you had that Rothschild guy, Rockefeller, he complained about the internet saying that he wished they never made it. You're right, but let's continue. It says, and plan how to set their traps in secret. Who will ever notice they acts? They plot their crimes. They say we have devised the perfect plan. Yes, the human heart and mind are cunning. It says, but the Most High himself will shoot them with his arrows, suddenly striking them down, and their own tongues will ruin them. And even what he said, he bragged a couple months ago, how that CV, when CV came about, that allowed them to put who they want in each government cabinet. As we're going to rewind this video, but that allowed them to put puppets in government cabinets, and those puppets was going to do everything that the World Economic Forum wanted them to do, pass laws that the World Economic Forum wanted them to pass. For example, a central bank and digital currency, y'all got to pass that. Lockdowns, y'all got to pass that, so on and so forth. Well, right, the scriptures say right here, their own tongues will ruin them, and who will see, and all who see them will shake their heads in scorn, man. So now that the truth has come out, as he complaining, everybody's shaking their head in scorn at these elites, man. Because now people see you for who you really are. You know, you ain't no more that the man behind the screen. You see? Everybody see you, man. So now we see him complaining. I'll go ahead and play. You got something, Saquon? Come on, I'll go ahead and play.
No, you good.
Come on.
Exploit them.
Globalization and against the elites. If you look what's happening in the United States, particularly, you have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. It's dismantling the system, and we see certain elements of this now in the new US administration.
But when you look at the bigger picture of the world, what you can say about
So this is the Klaus Schwab's his little buddy, right?
Yeah, this guy's the evil guy.
Donald Trump, or what he's doing over the last 2 years, is one very big and important thing he's doing. He's destroying the US alliance system all over the world. I don't know why he's doing it, but in a very systematic way, they're our friends, let's destroy that. They're our friends, let's alienate them. He's alienating America's friends in North America, Canada and Mexico, in Western Europe, in the Far East, South Korea, Japan. Is in a systematic way, for reasons I cannot fathom. He's destroying the greatest achievement of the US foreign policy for decades and decades to build this alliance, this global alliance system. We've built the rule-based liberal global order.
Oh my God.
The rules-based liberal global order. Hey, tell me you're a fascist without telling me you're a fascist.
Inclusion.
I don't know why Trump would do this just because the populace wanted it.
He's bewildered. Who cares what the people?
Hey. That's it. That's the end of that. So Klaus Schwab getting a little, they're uncomfortable with people expressing themselves electorally. That's bad. Oh, they're revolting against the global elite.
Boy, if Elon Musk upsets you, don't look up this guy.
Yeah, if you're upset at Elon Musk because the TV told you to, don't look up Klaus Schwab. You want to say something?
Well, I was just going to say, I believe this took place. This was in Egypt. This was after the World Economic Forum. He went over to Egypt. What gets really scary about this is that he starts throwing signals out there to the stakeholders and the elites that are there on how to crush
Those are
it.
Shareholders. You're
The
a stakeholder.
shareholders,
The shareholder.
not stakeholders.
You're a stakeholder.
Yeah.
Got it. But he starts throwing ways in which he's suggesting how to beat it back down and how to suppress the voices of people in this meeting over here.
Really?
Yeah.
I wish I had that video.
Let me guess.
I could
are they
probably
very
find it
German?
for Friday.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, Con, we need that video
You got it.
because you notice he mentioned America. All right. So that means, and he talking about, they was talking about ways of how to suppress. So you're going to see some shit this year. All right. Cause, they had that movie, The Purge, election year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got that movie 2024, So it's no telling, man. We do know it's going to hit the fan. We just don't know how it's going to hit the fan or exactly when. But we in that season, and I'll just say that, all right? We're in the season for civil unrest. And they also pushing for this Civil War shit. And then you saw the whole setup, January 6th was a couple of days away from January the 6th now. That was a setup, all right, in order to blame protesters, peaceful protesters, and discourage future protesters from protesting. So, it's going to be interesting to see what they bring out. You got something, brother?
Kind of real quick, going into how everything difficult for these elites now to get their plans off the ground. And that's what Klaus Schwab, also complaining about. Just real quick, this Job chapter 18 and verse 5, it says, the light of the wicked shall be put out. And that's the wisdom the Lord gave him. What it said in Obadiah, how the wisdom of Teman is no more. So they in these meetings, they usually, have plans. The Lord have Satan deal with them to give them certain things to do. But now that light, that wisdom that they once had, the decision making that they once had, the ideas for false flags, right, that they once had, they ain't got them same ideas. Why? Because now it's hard for them because you got the internet, people exposing them, the prophets out, these whistleblowers, right? Everybody know when a new G20 summit is. You see, when a new WEF forum is. So now they decision making and they NWO Bilderberg, right? So now they global reset plans that they thought was going to be easy, that they had planned out years in advance. Now that they at the end, it's being hard for them. It's becoming hard for them. And that's why Klaus Schwab complaining. So Job 18 and 5, it says, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. The light shall be dark in his tabernacle. In these meetings, man, when they get together and plan things, the light is dark now, and his candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be straightened, like it said in Job 20. I'll get that real quick. Well, I'm gonna finish this. I'll get that up after. But just like I said, you got it. I got it right here, Job 20, and right here. This Job 20 and verse 20. It says, surely he shall not go into the wicked, It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly. It says, he shall not save of that which he desired. There shall none of his meat be left. Talking about when he's, it's time to get destroyed. Everything he planned, everything he hoped for will be taken. And therefore shall no man look for his goods, is the point. And in the fullness of his sufficiency, now what's the fullness of the so-called white man, these elites' sufficiency? When they almost close to fulfilling their NWO, the New World Order. When they close to, as we are now, putting C-hips in everybody, close to locking it down, 15-minute cities, close to taking away real food and putting the food they want to put out there, right? Close to having a dystopian society while they live it up in bunkers. They think they gonna do all this, but now saying that at the end of the plans, it says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. And again, that's what Klaus Schwab was complaining about in this video. Seeing they close to the end, now things are getting difficult for him. Now he complaining. You see? It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. And what's next? So the same time he almost finished with his NWO, and the same time things getting difficult for him, what it says, and every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Now, when you go into that word wicked, it's Aimal, which is the working class, the everyday citizen. And that's exactly what he said in this video. The everyday citizen, these regular everyday people are now complaining about these higher up groups, because that go right along with prophecy, man. In the end time, it says when these elites was close to fulfill, being or having a new world order fulfilled, things was gonna get difficult for them in straits. And at the same time, the everyday working class citizen was go on a revolt, man. So we literally seeing these things play out. That's 2nd Esdras 15, when it says the government ain't gonna better do nothing against them, man. So I finish this out. You got us, Aquinas. Job 18:7 again. It says, the steps of his strength shall be straightened, difficult times, and his own counsel shall cast him down, man. And that's what we seeing. Klaus Schwab, we literally seeing him talk about Job 18:20. We seeing it backfire, man. But you got it, Dozaquan.
Con, brother. This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 8. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. All right. This is speaking to America, the virgin daughter of Babylon, when you go up to the first verse. All right. This is who the Lord is pronouncing this judgment against, as we read, the first scripture that came out, Jeremiah 50:45. So just for edification's sake, this is Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. We already established who Babylon is, where this virgin daughter, came forth of Babylon. All right. And so this is the Babylon, prophetically speaking today, is America. It says, sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, because the Lord is about to go and bring her into judgment. Mm-hmm. And that's what we picked up at verse 8. But in verse 9, well, picking back up at verse 10. All right, so it says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me, right? Because he has a God complex. He wants to rule over humanity, but not in justice, not in judgment, in cruelty, all right? In wickedness. And so to read verse 10 again, it says, thou hast trusted in thine wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. All right. And this was in times past. All right. They could have their secret meetings and councils and would not be bothered. None would hinder. You know, that was then. Well, I wonder what's changed from then till now. Why all of a sudden now, as the brother mentioned, we know about the Bilderberg. We know about Bohemian Grove. We know about the Council of 300, all them round table groups. All right, this council, that council, the WEF, Council of Foreign Relations, and all these different councils. We know of all these things. All right, so what's changed? The spirit of truth is now in the world. Okay, and as the brother brought out the verse, Psalms 64:8, the Most High bringing it out from both sides, the left and the right. Truth is coming out. All right, he got us, the prophets, on the right hand blasting this truth, and then you got whistleblowers on the left hand that's privy to these plans and these details. All right, they sat in some of these meetings and councils. And that you know, this truth, the spirit of truth is out because the prophecy written in 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3 has to be fulfilled. Cool. That day, the day of the Lord, shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed. Well, the man of sin is none other than Esau, Edom. All right. The falling away been took place going back to 70 AD, and that's the Israelites falling away from our heritage, our homeland, our power, and everything, all of our culture and our heritage. It didn't happen overnight. It was a process of time. But we've completely fell away at this point. And now the Lord, you know, has this devil being exposed thoroughly. All right. He's being thoroughly exposed. All right. So, right. He has said, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it had perverted thee. And that's what the brother read out of Job 18:5. That light. All right. Well, his wisdom and his knowledge, that's the light that the Most High is extinguishing. All right. It says, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. Right. That's what he's doing. He's having a council to deal with an unforeseen situation.
Right.
They didn't see that coming. I don't know if Trump was planned, you know, because he does have Zionist ties, as they say. You know, he's juiced in with those gutter rats. You know, and this all could be theater, or maybe Trump was a curveball that was thrown at him. But one thing they didn't count on is the people, you know, rising up the way that they have, coming out, posting videos, TikToks, you know, all type of info, especially when the juice came out, and, you know, up until this very day. You know, people are being vigilant. And it's a damn shame that you got Hebrew Israelites out here in the jovial spirit, all right, in a nonchalant, having a, you know, in a nonchalant mood, and they not speaking against, you know, the events that's taking place, the prophecies that's shaping up to bring about our deliverance. All right. We should be at the forefront of it. Well, as far as Great Millstone, we are the vanguard of this truth. But these other Israelite groups, they straight dropped the ball. And Apostle Tahar just put a video out now where this white woman, she clearly had the spirit was on her. And she kept asking the IUIC, I forget what branch they were, but she kept saying, but what is the real name? What is his real name? Do you know? Right. And she said, can you pronounce it? Can you say his name? And of course, they just dismissed as a demon and being wicked, but inquiring minds want to know, what is the name? So your whole time, You out there wasting your time. You on highways and byways and you not preaching the name, what you out there for? Oh, because somebody got to be the resistance against Great Millstone. But yeah, it's a damn shame. You got, you know, we this late in the game and you got Hebrew Israelites that's not preaching Yahweh, why Yahweh shy, all these prophecies. All right, I'm gonna finish this out, verse 11. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 11. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. And that's what the brother read out of Job chapter 20. When he is about to fill his belly, then sudden destruction, or loosely paraphrasing, the Lord is going to bring holy hell upon this devil. All right? So mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things. That shall come upon thee. All right. So, right, well, the video that the brother just showed, that's Klaus Schwab having the council. He had to call another council because shit ain't going the way they planned it. Showing y'all ain't in power. All right. Daniel 4:17 states that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, not man. The Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and he giveth it to whosoever he choose. Now I'm paraphrasing that, but the scripture went on to say, or goes on to say, that he set it up over it. All right, he gave the rulership of the earth, of the kingdom of men, to the basis of man. And this is what you just witnessed. So he forgot himself. He forgot who the fuck he was and who the hell the Most High is. You know, pardon my French, but he forgot who the Most High is. And the Most High getting ready to show him. Yeah, you devils ain't running shit. All right? And for those that are in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, you have nothing to fear this goddamn devil. All right? The scripture tells us that the issues of death are from the Most High, not from man. So this devil can't do nothing to you. And so again, it says, this is verse 13, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. All right? Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, and I just representative from here in Texas, he was on the radio on my way from work, and he said in 2023 he made, what was it, 111 trips, you know, between Texas and DC, just going back to the capital, you know, and back to Texas. And I believe he said 111. That's a lot of trips, you know, that's a lot of counsels. You know, just imagine boarding a plane 111 times. You know, but yeah, thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. And ancient Babylon was big on that with that ancient priesthood of the Chaldeans, all right, which were also money changers and bankers. They was into money magic, what they call the Babylonian money magic. And here, present day America, biblically known as Babylon, is following those same footsteps. So this is the virgin daughter of Babylon, all right? They do have their council of astrologers, stargazers, and monthly prognosticators. They have their witches and warlocks, their high priests on the left-hand side that they consult, all right, which conjure demons. They consult demons. for answers, you know, but the Most High is not going to have any answers for them. At a certain point in the game, it's going to be lights out, as again, the brother read Job 18. But you got it out.
I'll play just a little bit of it again, just to run it back. You know, now that we brought the precepts out to see, look, the precepts on point, man. We living in live prophecy, live and in time. I'll play it back though.
In the United
Then we can move on. We can kind of wind down with these next two articles. We'll skim through them.
States, in the Brexit vote, for this reason, what we have seen in the elections in the United States, in the Brexit vote, this anger of people against globalization and against the elites. If you look what's happening,
see the anger of people against against globalization and against the elites
in the United States, particularly, you have this anti-system movement. What we are seeing is a revolution against the system. It's
in the United States. You got an anti-system movement, and as they were saying, the video, you know, if they put it out, Lord willing, we find it. But how he said we got to suppress that those people. So look, if he bringing up America, that this are the most anti-system people, guess what? The main suppression go come right here in America. This is where it's gonna go down at, man. And look, man, we in that year 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. So again, and as we're gonna show these next couple articles, which we ain't gonna read all of, we're gonna just skim through them. They planning in 2024 to lock down people and bring that CBDC, and it's gonna go down, man.
dismantling the system, and we see certain elements of this now in the new US administration.
So he's saying, oh my God, but the people are rising up against the system that we created, that we've entrapped them in. People.
United States, in the Brexit vote.
Right. So, you know, I'll throw it in the chat so y'all can check that out. But that's the video. Now we're gonna hop into this article real quick, and Shalom to Allah Akim Akwafu may be tuning in. Shalom to brother Bakwashi Abashima Shabrak. Now, real quick, I just want to skim through this real quick because it says 2024. And remember, Klaus Schwab was just complaining about people bringing out their plans. Well, this is an outlook for 2024 from the elites and how they plan on to globalize the world or governments in 2024. Now, I read this real quick. I'm not going to read the whole article. I throw it in the chat, though. So this was put out January 2nd, 2024. It says, I'll blow it up so y'all can see. It says global government is the end game. We know that. And we know it's going to be by way of what? That MOTB, according to prophecy. It says total control of every aspect of life for every single person on the planet. That's the goal. That's what they told Aaron Russo, you know, that Rockefeller. It says that's been apparent to anyone paying attention for years, if not decades. And any tiny portion of remaining doubt was removed when CV was rolled out and members of establishments started outright saying it. CV marked an acceleration of the globalist agenda, a mad dash to the finish line that seemed to lose momentum short of victory, but the race is still going on. And that's what we kind of just read in Job 2, how they had a nice momentum, but now they're getting closer to fulfilling their agenda. Things are getting difficult for them. It says the goal has not changed, even if the years since may have seen the agenda retreat slightly back into the shadows. It says we know that what they want conceptually, but what does that mean practically, right? What does a potential global government actually look like? And I'm gonna jump down just to hit the points. Starting right here, it says that's where the three main pillars of global rule come in. So these are the three main things they need to do in order to bring about a global government, a NWO, man. And what's the first one? Digital money. That's the first one, which that's the main prophecy, the MOTB. So it's starting off with a bang. It says the next one, digital ID, which go right into the MOTB as well. And also climate change. Now, just a side note, when we read climate change, y'all hear about climate change in the news. That's just their excuse to say the planet is being hurt. Too much energy is being put out by people. Well, climate action or the climate agenda is just another a professional way of saying lock their ass down again, right? Lock them down again. Because everything to combat climate is keeping people in place, eating things that they want you to eat, doing what they want you to do. So when we see a climate agenda, that's just a professional way of saying, let's lock them down again, man. So what's all the three main pillars in 2024 for global rule? The first one, digital money, digital ID, so they know who everybody is and tracking, and also climate action, right? Now, again, I kind of want to read, but it's all good. I'll throw it in the chat so y'all can check it out.
Now, why do we need a global ID? Everybody got IDs here in America, at least. And I'm sure, you know, they have identification protocols in these other countries. So why they need a global ID? All right, because you have to understand, they want to be able to human traffic legally. And so they need you in the system, in a global system. All right, this is what they this is what they do. All right, by their traffic, they've gotten great riches. All right, in the book of Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel 28. But go ahead,
Can I just read a little excerpt from like each point? So from digital money, it says, number one, that's the first one. Over 90% of the nations of the world are currently in the process of introducing a new digital currency issued by their central bank. Let's see. It says clearly CBDCs are a potentially dystopian nightmare, which will infringe the rights of anyone forced to use them. But how are they the building block to global government? And again, they talk about interoperability, which all systems will work on one, all CBDCs, you know, so on and so forth. And again, we know what this is going to lead to. It might start off with what? A card first or app first, but eventually this is going to lead to that MOTB, man. So I'll read this last little excerpt right here. It says, it doesn't take a genius to decode global coordination and cohesive ecosystem, harmonious advancement, and interconnected payment systems. So that's all ultimately what they're trying to do. They need all payment systems to be on one. And that sounds like Revelation 3 and 10, that our temptation which shall try all the world, man. Revelation 13 all day. So the second one is digital identity. It says, and this is what the elites want to push in 2024. It says the second one, digital identity. The global push for mandatory digital identities is even older than digital currency agenda itself, dating back to the turn of the century of Tony Blair's national identity cards. Which again, this is a reason for them to have you give up your rights so you can be tracked. Just like when 9/11 happened, people was willing to give up their rights, and they came with the Patriot Act. You know, give up their freedom, so-called, to believe they're safe. Well, the same mindset will be used today. They're gonna have an issue come, and like I said right here, what's some reasons digital identity can be used? Terrorism, right? Well, digital ID can keep you safe. Illegal immigration, digital ID will secure the border. What's two things they've been talking about? Illegal immigration and terrorism. It says pandemic. Digital identity will keep track of who got the juice and who hasn't. AI, digital identity will prove who's human. Poverty, digital identity will promote financial inclusion, which is going to lead to what? Clearly, just as with CBDCs. So it's all connected, man. Your health, your identity, and your financial, monetary is all going to be connected. Social credit score, so on and so forth, which is going to lead to the third one, climate action, which this way your credit score will come in if you abide by the rules that's going to be put out by the government. So climate action, it says climate change has been at the forefront of the globalist agenda for years. It is the Trojan horse of the anti-human technocrat. It says as long as 2010 noted, climate change experts were suggesting that humans are not evolved enough to combat climate change and that it may be necessary to put democracy on a hold for a while. Now, what's democracy? When people think they have a choice, when people think they have a say-so in the rule, Well, they said humans ain't doing it. So we need to step in and make changes for them, man. And again, this goes into locking you down, saying what you can do or can't do, right? Agreeing with the laws of the government. If not, your social credit score go down, right? You got to stay at home. You got to eat this and eat that. That's what this climate change is going to go to, man. I read a little bit of it and we can move on. It says right here. It says we're being told the IMF that every country in the world should tax carbon, and in recent crossover episode, the CBDCs can be good for the environment. Now, why does CBDC keep coming up for the digital ID and carbon? Right? It says, see how it works: agriculture and food, public health, energy and transport, trade, fiscal and taxation policy, even education. Almost every area of government is now potentially covered by what? By climate change umbrella. So they can use climate change to say, look, eat this. You know, like I was just saying, you can't drive here, you can't drive that. 15-minute cities. So we see what is going in 2024, man. In 2024, these are the top 3 things that people like Klaus Schwab are looking to begin or push even more coming into this new year in order for what? Them to achieve a new world order, a one world government. And what's the 3 things again? Digital money, digital ID, and climate action, man. You see, you got something, Zaquan? You're on mute. Yeah, I got you on mute. Okay. You want me to continue?
All right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can hear you. You got it.
This is Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right. Now that beast is ancient Rome. So he being Esau, the rulers, the elite of Esau, the rulers that be, he resurrected ancient Rome, all right, bringing Rome back to life through this system, system of government. But it goes on to say, that the image of the beast should both speak, and it speaks through passing laws and legislation. But it says, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, all right? Because that's what it's going to come down to. Now, you already heard Klaus Schwab and, him addressing his contemporaries that they need to suppress these uprisings. So it's going to come down to people being executed. That as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's what's coming in the midst of all of this. All right, because you're going to have resistance. You're going to have pushback, especially here in America. People used to that so-called democracy, and especially here in Texas, everybody, especially these Edomites, they got guns. So it's just going to come down to, civil unrest. People going to have to die. But that was it.
And I put this real quick vid, but I'll read this quick article real quick, since we touched on the elites again. Klaus Schwab right here complaining about the people knowing these secrets and want to revolt against the elites. We see their plans: digital money, digital ID, and climate change for 2024. So just to back up all those is another article from Blacklisted News put out today. It says the Juggling Act. Is 2024 a pivotal year for the globalists? And again, we've been talking about Klaus Schwab, one of the head of the main global movements or organizations, right? So this is a pivotal year for them to get this off the ground, man. Everything the prophet's been talking about. But real quick, I'll read these first paragraphs right here, and we can move to that video, and that's pretty much it. It says, in the U.S. and in many parts of Europe, And then who Klaus Schwab mentioned? Right, Europe and the US. That's exactly who he mentioned. It says the people are indeed very angry for different reasons depending on their political affiliations. On the other hand, they aren't hungry, at least not to the extent that they are desperate. This could very well change in 2024, given the confluence of events that are swirling as we enter the new year. I continue to see 2024 as a nexus point, which is a connecting point, a nexus point of our era for a number of reasons. The globalist timeline for their Great Reset mentions 2030 as the prime year for total centralization. Now, they say 2030 is the year, not that they want to start a global government or everything being on one network. That's when they want to finish it and begin and as they would think, their new world order. So if they want to make it official in 2030, when they got to start? Right now. They got to start right now. They got to kill an awful lot of people right now. Make changes for a digital society right now, man. Put laws in place to shut people down right now, man. So we about to see a lot of these things. And also remember, the Lord said he was going to speed up time. And they said Esau, no, he got a short time. So all these things, man, can happen soon. Soon. So it says, I continue to see 2024 as a nexus point of our era for a number of reasons. The globalist timeline for their Great Reset mentions 2030 as the prime year for total centralization. This is the year they plan to put their carbon controls in place, remove most oil and gas energy, everything going electric, bring in their digital currency framework, finalize their 15-minute city program. See, they want to finish it by then, 2030, not start it. It says finalize their 15-minute city programs, establish the IMF and BIS, which IMF is the International Monetary Fund, and BIS is the Bank of International Settlements, which they say the BIS is like the central bank of central banks. So when that CBDC come, guess who all central banks gonna have to report to? The BIS and the IMF. So that's why it says, and establish the IMF and the BIS as the overseers of the global CBDC structure, man. Launch their cashless society and integrate ESG related goals into every aspect of the economy. Now, mind you, everything we just read, that's the plans for 2024. To shut everybody down, put carbon controls in place. That's a social credit score. Well, shut people down, tell them what they can eat, remove gas and oil, everything going electric, bringing a digital framework, right? Digital ID, 15-minute cities, and CBDC. The CBDC coming, cashless society, and also ESG scores. And that's your social credit score, man. They're planning on establishing this in 2024. So we see why it's a problem here at the end, as the scriptures say, fill their belly and fulfill their NWO is getting difficult for them, man. So as the elder said, Klaus Schwab said, we have to suppress these people who are angry against the elites. And what's going to be the way to suppress it? By having a government come after its own citizens, man. Now, if you ain't got anything, Zaquan, I'll play this video. I'm going to just play it through. It's from our man, Mike Adams at Brighteon. And the title of this video is, you got it. And the title of this video is 2024 is the year that Western governments will wage war against their own citizens, man. So everything is a circle. The elites mad because the working class people rising up and their plans getting outed. They need to pass and do a lot of these things in 2024. And because they need to suppress the people, we about to, hear a little bit of what's going to happen. How everything gonna play out. Now, again, this whole video is fire. I'm gonna just get the last little bit of it. So I'll let it play a little bit and we can get out of here.
And restore energy abundance to the United States of America so we're not dependent on the Middle East for energy exports, because that situation is a total quagmire. And thanks to lunatics like Lindsey Graham, the likelihood of escalation of war with Iran or other Middle Eastern nations, that likelihood continues to increase with each day that Biden is in office. So my advice is very simple. Be ready in 2024. Be ready for your government to wage war against you.
You hear that? Be ready in 2024. The government go wage war. Now he about to kind of give a timeline on what could take place
at a level that you've never witnessed. We're talking about kinetic attacks or radiological attacks or bioweapons attacks, all kinds of psyops and propaganda and censorship and deliberate takedowns of the banking system and the power grid. I mean, anything they can do. Instead of defeating Russia or China, the United States government is focused on defeating the American people because they see the American people as their greatest threat. The people and democracy, the will of the people, is seen as the greatest threat to the current regime in power.
Hey, that's cool, man. We just read in this article. What's one of the things they need to stop? It said democracy. The people think they got a choice.
That's what they're afraid of, is that people might be able to speak their minds and vote their hearts. Because if the American people are allowed to speak and vote as they wish, then the Democrats are done. Done. That's why we have censorship. That's why we have rigged elections. Because the Democrats can't stay in power without cheating, and threatening, and carrying out acts of terrorism against the American people. And you're going to see the worst examples of that, the most egregious examples, over the next year, actually more than that, the next 2 years at least, in the United States of America. There's nothing they won't do. There's no number of Americans that they won't kill to stay in power, to reinforce their narratives, and to terrorize the people into backing down. They will leave most Americans so afraid, so just terrified, that most people will beg for the government to come save them. Oh, please give me government handouts, government food, government stimulus money, need help from the government. Everything's so bad, because of those dang North Koreans, and they set off that EMP. It's those Norks. They're the bad guys. Our government, they tried to save us. They tried to protect us, but they couldn't stop the Norks. And so the government's going to help us now by giving us free food and shelter. And all we have to do is give up our firearms and our free speech rights. And then we can go into the FEMA camps and we can be taken care of. Oh, but of course, vaccines are required. So we'll have to get updated with the vaccine schedule. And the new boosters are required. Okay, yeah. Something new is going around. I see. Well, yeah, we'll line up and get the shots. And then we get the new government stimulus money. But, it's only in the central bank digital currencies. Okay, no problem. Well, I got to scan my forehead and inject my palm with an RFID embedded chip. Okay, no problem.
You hear that? Come on, man. He sounds like he prophesying. Well, he prophesying right now. He sounds like a prophet. That's what we can look when everything go down. These people, these citizens, gonna beg the government, man. They're gonna be looking for help and assistance, and they go run right to them. But a lot of people go get mowed down in order to put fear into these people, man. That's the time we in. That's the time we living in. It can happen the event, whatever event is gonna be, the Black Swan. It could be any day now, man. To kickstart a 2024, man. To kickstart what we're looking for, these prophecies.
We need
where we in this is the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble.
That's right.
That Mike Adams talking about Jacob's trouble. In this hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, you got the white boy telling you about Jacob's trouble. So this year starting off beautifully, all right, with earthquakes and strategic attacks and whatnot, But go ahead, brother.
That's it. I just play a couple more seconds of it.
Stimulus money. We'll sign up for the system. We got to get the shots. We got to get embedded in the palms. We got to get tattooed. We got to agree to not say anything critical about this government. We have to give up our First Amendment rights, give up our Second Amendment rights, give up all the property that we own, probably lose our bank accounts. But it's good because the government's keeping us safe from those evil North Koreans. Like, this is what the typical oblivious American is going to tell themselves, because, you know, Stockholm syndrome, they're all brainwashed into worshiping their captors. They're worshiping the terrorists that did all this to them. And they're not going to do very well. These kind of people, they won't survive very long in this environment. And the system wants them dead anyway. I mean, we're living under massive global depopulation. So be ready. 24 is going to be the most interesting year of our lives. And then 25 after that might be even crazier. So get ready for everything. Be prepared. Make sure you can live off grid. Make sure you can survive a grid down.
Come on, man. So he's saying the same thing. Be prepared. So Apostle Tahar, that's how we know he was on point with what he coined this new year, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble. Because what everybody's saying is going to be a time like never before. Well, it just so happened Jacob's trouble is said to be a time like never before, man. So, hey, this could very well be our last year here. Come on. So these exciting times keep our head on the swivel, you know, and continue to stay in tune with what the apostles, elders, and bishops bringing out. Because these things will be needed for our stability in the days to come. But you got us, Aquan, you could take us out, you know. You was on mute, you still on mute. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, it said, there you go. Yep.
You good? Yeah. I couldn't pull it up. All right, but yeah, man, no, there's some beautiful info, man. Yeah, this year just starting off, and we see these prophecies clearly. So as the brother said, hey, it would behoove y'all to stay tuned to the prophets. You know, it always have, but even more so now that the finish line is like right there. And that's the toughest part of the race, is the finishing, you know, especially when you're going distance. Everybody start off strong, then people start falling off during the race. We've seen that. And now we're here. This is the part of the race where you're fatigued, you know. You got to dig in deep, and pull out. And that, you know, that's what this truth is about. All right. It's about, you know, building character to be fashioned in the image of Yahweh Shai. So it can't be easy. It has to be difficult. Easy paths, it don't require character. It doesn't require discipline or integrity to take that broad way, as the scriptures calls it, that broad path. But that straight and narrow, you know, it's going to expose you. Mm-hmm. It's going to expose you. Some of the things that are exposed may be good. A lot of what's exposed ain't going to be good. And then you have to make the adjustments. All right. It's up to us to make the adjustments. Now, we can pray for help. You know, we don't have to do it alone. We have Yahweh Shai. If you lacking something that may keep you from the kingdom, pray on it. All right. That's why it's good to have, or to be in camps. You have a support system. All right. We have a support system of brothers that have come up, went through that straight gate, or is going through that straight gate. All right. So we kind of can feel each other's pain, so to speak. You know, when we go through these different trials and whatnot, you know, we have shoulders to lean on. For those of you out there may not be in the camp where you had the prophets. Lean on this word. We're going to give you the word. Lean on this word. All right. And put your trust, all your trust in Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So, yeah, it's going to be, this year going to be a mother, you know, But I ain't gonna ramble on. We pray that you all were edified in this lesson. And again, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakadash. The honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the 144,000 and the hopeful elect, or the rest of the elect. Hey, to the next one, brothers and sisters, shalom.
Shalom.